Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Thought I'd show you guys Florah's hometown, her little village in Hinatun in the Philippines. It is really a cute little village, and you can kind of see at low tide, all of this is on the ground, but at high tide, you can see the boat right there. This is all underwater, and it's a really interesting place. You know, this is Hinatun in the Philippines. She lives right on the water, and her house is built on stilts. So when the tide comes in, it's right to the bottom of her floor. And you can see the whole village here. She lives off here to the left-hand side, and there's only a few houses from her to the water. But what I really wanted to show you guys was what these guys do to make money. And it's really amazing all the things that they do in this little town to make money. And what they're doing is they're going to go gather coconuts, and they're going to gather for copra. I don't know if you know what copra is, but copra is a coconut oil, and we use that for all kinds of things. Mostly it's used for livestock as feed, and it's a filler, but take a look at what it takes to go get the copra. This is a coconut grove. It's about 45-minute walk from Florah's house, and you can see the grove. It's just a mangrove, and at low tide, like right now, this is all easy to walk. Florah has a difficult time navigating these coconut bridges. She's just got on sandals, and that's pretty much what everybody wears here in the Philippines. There's no boots, there's no tennis shoes. They wear sandals, and it's a very common way to walk around. But take a look at the mangrove. It's just amazing, just beautiful place. This area reminds me of Mosquito Lagoon. If you guys are familiar with where that is, it's Titusville, and more people know it as NASA. This is just exactly like the same area. At low tide, you can walk around. At high tide, this is all mangrove, and it's underwater. The difference is there are coconut trees here in the Philippines. I mean, thousands and thousands. Her sister actually owns 2.5 hectares, so that's about 5 acres, and 2 times a year they go out and they harvest the coconuts for copra. You can see some of them laying on the ground. Although you can take a boat down some of the canals to get to the area, these guys are just walking out to the grove, and she's just kind of showing you all the things that you have to walk across. You can see that that's really muddy, very muddy, and you can see her sandals right there. She's trying to navigate across all this area. Her sister, who is there in the foreground, very, very good at walking across. She does this all the time, and what she's doing is she's following along with her husband, and she's bringing food out to the workers. So remember, this is about a 45-minute walk from the village to this coconut grove. And her area, the 2.5 hectares, is right in the center of a huge, huge coconut grove. And it's really amazing. It looks so much like Titusville. I hope you guys get the chance to come down to NASA and explore Mosquito Island. Watch out for crocodiles, actually alligators here in Florida, but there's crocodiles here throughout the Philippines. So again, 2 times a year they come out, they harvest the coconuts, and it is quite an adventure to walk out here. And I mean, it's a long walk, especially in sandals, and I just admire Florah so much. She's really having a tough time navigating these paths and the coconut bridges. There's actually a trip trap bridge here you'll see in just a second, and you'll see there's actually a boat right there at the canal, and they could take the boat, but they use that boat to put the copra in when they take it back to the copra smoking station. So here's the bridge, and it's quite steep, as you can see. She's trying to carry her backpack and film at the same time, but you see the boat across the ways? So she's coming up on the bridge, and she's got it. But right across the bridge there, that's where the grove is actually, all the work is going to be done. And take a look at what it takes to actually break open a coconut and get the coconut out. These trees are well over 50 feet high, and these guys climb up there and they knock those things down and they put them in a big pile. And then what they do is they take an axe, as you can see, and they split open each one of these to expose the actual coconut. You can see it in there. So this is Florah's brother, and he's busy at work here. He's been out here all morning, and there's 4 other people here as well. It takes an awful lot of coconuts to make the copra. I mean, there's supposedly 3,000 plus per kilo. That's a lot of coconuts to make 1 kilo of, one sack of copra. 1 sack of copra, the raw copra, is about 50 kilograms, and you can see it, what it looks like right there. Again, they're not going to eat this. This is going to be for coconut oil, or it'll be for livestock. So it's a little different than harvesting coconuts for the meat inside. You can see them climbing up the tree, and they knock those coconuts down. They put them in piles, huge piles, and then they spend the whole day chopping it open. Florah has to give it a try too. She used to do this with her dad when she was just a little girl, and she told me so many stories about doing this. You know, days and days, her and her dad would go out and they'd harvest this copra. She's quite good at it, and swinging that axe, of course, it wears you out, but you break it open and you'll find the coconut inside. I had so many questions when she sent me this video, and it's amazing. It's amazing what this girl knows, what all Filipinos know. They know how to survive, guys. They really know how to survive, survivalist. And it just amazes me, all the things that they can do. You know, Florah was supposed to be here by now. Her contract ended in Singapore. I went to Singapore and we got engaged. And her contract ended back on March 12th or something like that. And that's right when the pandemic began. And she flew back home. It was very difficult for her to even get home. And of course now there's no flights out of there. There's no flights in. And if you've watched and heard about immigration, what a mess. What a mess. This virus has caused so many problems for us, for the whole world. But Florah worked at these things here all day with the boys, and it just amazes me all the work that went into getting the coconut out of each one of these shells. I mean, it took all day. I think they did close to maybe 6,000 or 7,000 coconuts between the 5 of them. And of course, they still need to actually remove the coconut from the shell. And they're going to show you how to do that here in just a second. A whole day's work. You know, I thought we worked hard at Apple Drains. I really did. And wow, these guys work. They work and work and work, and then they work some more. So now it's time to actually remove the coconut from the shell itself. And you can see they're quite good at this. They take their knife and they pop it all out of there. It just takes a second. They basically just make a big pile. Remember, this is not coconut that's going to be eaten by humans. This is going to be made into coconut oil and or used for livestock. So it's a lot different. They can just throw it on the ground and they'll bag all that up. And then they take it into the smokehouse where they have to smoke this, dry it before they can actually get the oil out. So there's one pile of coconuts. Can you remember how many coconuts that was? I mean, that was hundreds and hundreds of coconuts just to make this small amount of coconut to go and create copra. Florah's sister's been busy cooking and cooking, getting all the food prepared for all the workers, and they had a great lunch. Now it's time to bag this copra up and take it into the smokehouse. Florah stretched out on a bag of the copra. It really wore her out for that day. Here it is in the smokehouse. They gather it all up, put it in piles, and they actually smoke it. They dry it. Once it's dried, then it can be pressed into oil. So from the 20 plus bags of raw copra, once it was smoked and dried, now it's down to 12 bags. So for those 12 bags at 50 kilos each, that's 12,000 pesos for the day. Okay, time to break camp and head back to town. Start that long walk back through the mangroves. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.